Hello YouTube, welcome to Stereo449. This video here, I'm going to show you how I make my stations. This here is the platform for it. This is at the stage before painting. So yeah, the video is going to show you how I get to this sort of stage. And just sort of what I'm planning on doing next. So yeah, just give me a second. Okay, to make my stations I start off with a big sheet of wood. Well, it's not wood actually, it's compressed paperboard. I then get some paper down and create a template on my track where I wanted it to go. If you look at my previous videos, you would have seen that on either side of the rails. Once I've got the template to the correct size, I just transfer it over onto the wood. Get quite a sharp craft knife and just cut it out to the rough shape. Then I file down the edges so they're nice and flat either side. The next thing I do is I have to raise the track off the layout baseboard, or else it's obviously too low. So what I do is I cut out of the wood, out of the board even, little pieces like this. Now these here are the same width as the track, as the board, sorry. And I worked out that two of these is the same height as a Hornby station platform kit if you go and buy one of those plastic ones, so it's quite useful. All I'm using is just double-sided sticky tape at the moment. I've measured this out and I know it needs to be 9 centimeters from the end, so I just line it up and push down. I've done that all the way along, connecting them all together, and eventually you get this. I think you can just about see it there. This is going to have 4 legs. As you can see, this one here has also got the same 1, 2, 3, 4. These here are just to obviously support it up and stop it from flexing if I had any buildings on top or anything like that. Now, is what I'm planning on doing this. If you notice this one here, you can see it's got a slope at this end that slopes down. That's so I can add rails and fencing. You can walk up and create a walkway all the way up to a paying station, or from what it's called. But on this one here I'm not having a slope, instead I'm going to use matchsticks, and at this end here I'm going to very carefully create steps going up, so people sort of come to the edge of this platform, go up the steps and come on top like that. But yeah, the next thing I do, obviously as you can see this is white and this is green, so what I do is I just paper mache the whole of this in 2 layers, with a mixture of basically 1-to-1 glue and water. That's just a little bit. I've got to mix it in and make sure none of the glue is sort of still on the bottom. Feels alright now. Basically, all you do is paper mache. I use kitchen roll. I cut it into strips of various sizes, some big, some small ones. And then all I do is I just dunk them in the glue, then take it out of the glue, slide my hand down it, and then I just wrap it round it in place. I'm just going to add reason I put this down is just to stop the glue from getting soaked into the towel too much. I don't mind, it's an old towel anyway. So yeah, this is all I do. Put it in the glue. Give it a little bit of straw. That's just to get rid of most of the excess glue. And just lay it on top. Work it in. Now the finish is not going to be perfectly smooth. Once I've done one layer of this all over, and then put another layer on top, and this second layer is what gives the top its finish. If I just stick this down, I'll show you on the other platform what I mean. Yeah, so on here, as you can see here, this has got a nice smooth surface to the top. That's because I placed on the top just one layer, one solid layer all the way along, which gives it a smooth finish. Now the reason I am paper macheing this instead of just painting straight onto it is two reasons. One is to add strength, because this board here is quite wobbly. Same goes over all the feet. There's a problem I had when I first tried this, that the feet just kept falling off. So I decided I had to paper mache it for that reason. The other reason is it's very hard to paint straight onto that green paper board. So what I had to do with my baseboard when it was down is I went out and brought a white aerosol can, and I just sprayed the whole of the base with this white paint. I then went over it again with the base colours, i.e. the road was put in a grey colour, all the grass was one layer of green, any sort of tracks were done in more of a brown colour, little field was done in a bit of a yellow. That there basically just gave the underlying colour, which is what you need for to sort of start off your layout. So just put on one more piece, and then I'll tell you what I'm planning on doing next. One thing, don't worry about putting on too much glue. The more glue you add, the longer it takes to dry, but when it's dried it gives it a very hard finish. The only problem is if you have too much glue, especially with kitchen towels, the kitchen towel just breaks up on you, and you struggle to give it a nice finish. So yeah, basically what you can see now is the underside is coming together. I'm getting layers all over it. And the other thing I found quite handy is the glue starts to set quite quickly. Not as in this will go dry completely solid in 2 minutes, you have to leave it overnight, but I mean like the top layer of glue starts to dry quite quickly, and it turns into like plaster, like plaster paper or something like that. You just dip that in water, and the plaster mixed with the water and turns to a paste and goes hard. I've seen some people use that on tunnels and stuff, but basically that's what's happening with the glue. It's sort of reacting with, instead of reacting with water, reacting with the kitchen roll, and it allows you to shape it quite nicely. As you can see, it's already starting to shape in. So yeah, I'll just leave that for a minute. What am I doing next? The next thing I'm going to try and do is I'm going to paint this. The base colour basically is going to have brown. Sorry, brown. What about? It's going to be grey, all the way, all over, everywhere. Then these here are going to be wood. So obviously they're going to be painted brown. Then I'm going to have a little bit of grey on the ends of them. Look like paint overrun almost, like it was under maintenance still. And someone's repainting it, so yeah, that's how it's going to finish. I then may add a very fine white line, but I've got to find some pictures of the stations from the period I'm working at and seeing what the design on them was, because modern day platforms you have white and yellow lines to show you where you shouldn't stand before the trains come and falling over the edge and things like that. I wouldn't have thought they'd be on here. Health and safety wasn't that good. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add a shelter of some form. Now Hornby do quite a cheap pack that you buy, and it's got 3 buildings in it. It's got a few signs and signals, quite a few telephone wires and telephone poles even. But in there they've got these 3 buildings. Now one of them you've seen on the track already. It's on the left-hand edge, just next to the cardboard building there. It's the plastic ones. There's another one in there which is about twice the size, So what I'm planning on doing is adding it on the back here. It's going to have its own stands underneath. The reason for that is I can change the height of it, so it's like either steps going up or steps going down into it. I can make it level, just make it look a bit more realistic than just all being completely flat. But yeah, basically that's what I'm doing. Then once this is all dry and painted, it's going to be placed on the board. I'm going to glue it down, or I'm going to find a way of driving pins all the way through and just pinning it down. Now, one thing you may have noticed is underneath here there's big holes. Now, if I just left it bare, you'd be able to see underneath it and it wouldn't look very good. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add bushes all the way along here. I'm also going to add ballast underneath, make it quite thick. So yeah, basically that's all I'm doing. The next video I'm going to do is hopefully just going to be an update, and you should see at least one of these finished and resting on the track. It may not be all completely senior, or have all its senior around it yet, but it should be, this actual platform should be 100% finished. So yeah, thanks for watching. If you have any sort of comments or questions, please leave them as a comment. Yeah, thanks for watching, and please subscribe.